التربية. لذلك, how do you attain it? يصحب شيخا عارف المسالك يقيه في طريقه المهالك. You only befriend a sheikh. Sheikh mentioned, وصحبة أستاذ. You befriend a sheikh. I gave this story a few days ago when I was giving a lecture, and I would love to give it again for those who are not able to listen to it, because it will never leave my mind. I always had questions. Honestly speaking, I always had questions. Hence, I'm constantly asking and seeking answers. My questions were, why doesn't this apply today? Why isn't this working today? What's going on today? Why are we not reaching anywhere? What's happened to the ummah? Every time I knock on a door, the door is open, the only thing I see is emptiness. I see hollowness through. But when Allah guided me to the right source of light, the only light you see is that, and the rest of the world becomes dark. And inshaAllah ta'ala, may Allah keep this light for me, to show me always where the path is. Not that I feel myself thinking it's special, la. But I'm telling you and myself that seek it, you will attain it. Seek it, you will receive it. Look for it, you'll find it. من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له طريقا إلى الجنة. التماس, you have to search, constantly search. And when Allah gives you one path, hold on to it. That's what the ummah needs. The ummah needs to understand that it's a path that we need to follow. So when you find a sheikh that knows the path, this sheikh will protect you from those things that destroy you. With Asad ibn al-Furat, at his time, he thought it was enough for him. And when he said no, and he lived with his knowledge, while thinking that perhaps he belongs in the caliber alone, Allah took away everything that he worked for. Nothing of his works remained. But Al-Mudawwana did. Al-Mudawwana of the corrections. That's why. It's called because of the corrections that were made at the time. This type of sheikh, يُذْكِرُهُ اللَّهَ إِذَا رَآهُ. What does that mean? What we need is taqwa. Where do you achieve taqwa? Not just by reminding yourself of Allah da'iman. You need the sources that remind you of Allah always. Things that will constantly return you back to Allah. The Sahaba, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he was faced with the Sahaba. The Sahaba told him, every time I leave Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what happens? I feel like my heart deteriorates. I am destroyed. Da'iman. Abu Bakr had to give him glad tidings and tell him, look, we all feel the same. Where was the source of taqwa? Where was the source of reminder? Back to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's how it worked. وَيُوصِلُ الْعَبْدَ إِلَى مَوْلَاهُ فَالتَّرْبِيَةُ أَوَّلًا. I could carry on. Number two, بعد التربية, you need العلم الشرعي الحقيقي. Nowadays, why do I say that? I add al-haqiqi at the end for a reason. You need that shari'i knowledge, sharia knowledge, according to the deen, which is the true one. There's so much information spread out there because of social media, and also the wrong people that don't belong in their positions, and yet we still believe that's ilm. You know that it's an affliction which is afflicting you and I today, and it's a reality that we live in. So in order for you to reach to that level, you need to literally peel through the layers. That's a fact. I'll give you a simple example. For a ammi, not to come out of laymanhood, for just a layman, at least to survive, not to not be a layman. I'm not going to explain to you exactly what you need not to become a layman. Simply put, I'll give you this. Every imam in the masjid, they are required to to deliver to their people in the masjid, and the Muslims are required to achieve four knowledge, four ilm, four ulum. They need these four. Number one is al-aqidah. Only one text in aqidah, so they understand about Allah. A very small text. According to any text the imam will take. This doesn't require the imam to be a alim. As long as you've reached to that second marhala, and the imam now is an imam, in today's day and age, I promise you, if the imam completes the second marhala, oh, he's a sheikh. That's the reality of today. He's a sheikh, he's a alim. According to how we perceive ulama today. لا نفرق بين داع وعالم. We cannot separate between a da'i and a alim. We all think they're ulama, they're mashayikh, they're scholars. That's a fact, but that's not the reality. You need aqidah, simply. Number two, somewhat of nahaw, which is lugha. Why do you need that? لصيانة اللسان من الأخطاء القرآنية, so that you can correct your lisan while you're reading Quran. That's number two. Number three, شيئا من التجويد. We need somehow something of tajweed. Now this is where the challenge comes by. Number four is somehow al-fiqh. And not كل أبواب الفقهية. Not every single fiqh chapter. You only need fiqh al-ibadat. Fiqh al-ibadat alone. Sheikh Ahmed Lali was explaining, how many types of people do we need? We need nurses, we need engineers, we need businessmen, we need more and more. Lakin, you notice that, I'll mention the text that I understand according to the madhab I follow. You notice that if you read Al-Ashmawiyah, and if you read Matn al-Akhdari, very small text in the Maliki madhab, you notice that Al-Ashmawiyah only covers the necessary parts of salah that every ammi requires, and just somewhat the chapter of siyam, so that you may protect your fasting and you may protect your salah. This book does not even cover mas'alat al-khuffayn, when you wear leather socks. It doesn't even cover when you have nose bleeding, mas'alat al-ru'af. It doesn't cover even that, let alone the rest of the other abwab fiqhiyya. Ask ourselves today, what's the state of the ummah? If we are asked about tahara alone, simply put, can we answer? Can we return back an answer knowing that, okay, I protect my tahara like this, I worship Allah like this. If I make a mistake a little bit, how do I correct it? At least for sujood al-sahw. When do you come with sujood al-sahw? Before salam or after salam? وَإِن يَكُنْ زَيْدٌ وَنَقْصٌ حَلَّ. What do you do? فَغَلِّبِ النُّقْصَانَ وَاسْجُدْ قَبْلَ وَإِن تَكُنْ تَمَحَّضَتْ زِيَادَةً فَاسْجُدْ لَهَا بَعْدَ وَفَالْعِبَادَةِ. Simply put. Now you don't need to memorize all of that. The only thing that you need is to understand. If I make a mistake, I correct it like this. If I do this, my salah has gone wrong. It's simply salah. Not anything else. Simply salah. You don't need anything else. If a ammi understand these four, at the very least, he can walk around and knowing that they're confident in worshipping Allah solely, alone. And then beyond that, after that, what do you do? Anything else when you have a question, you come back to the alim. You come back to the sheikh. And the sheikh will answer your questions. He would help you when it comes to that. وَلَا عَيْبَ فِي ذَلِكَ.